I would like to address to all of you the subject of a pandemic that is far worse than the COVID pandemic that we are all suffering through at this time around the world. And that is the pandemic of unbelief. We know as Christians, and especially as Orthodox Christians, the importance of having fellowship with believers. We know the importance of gathering together around the Eucharistic banquet, the Divine Liturgy, where we receive the body and blood of Christ for the healing of soul and body. We know this is important. We know that we have, as Orthodox Christians, been charged with availing ourselves to the Divine Liturgy frequently, at least once a week, but on feast days as well. We know the value of frequent reception of the Holy Mysteries. We know the value of being with other believers. We know that our Orthodox Christianity is not about individual faith, but it is about corporate faith. My relationship with other believers is what brings comfort and warmth to my heart. And it is also something that I am charged with being loving to others. So when we are together as a family of God, we support one another. So what do we do during an age like this when we have been cut off from one another? Well, there's lots of things we can do. First of all, we can stand up to the authorities and even maybe to our bishops and say, enough is enough. We need to be together around the Eucharistic banquet. We need the Eucharist more than ever. We need community more than ever. We need to love each other in person more than ever. For those of us who are living in areas like Australia and Canada, which are probably two of the most locked down places where churches are being closed by the government, it's a very difficult time. But it is times like these that we need to love and support one another. One way we can do that is by giving telephone calls or doing FaceTime with friends so that we actually see each other. I have a abbot of another monastery that is a close friend and has been a friend for many, many years. And we have both discovered that if we have FaceTime discussions with each other, at least every other week, that it is far more profitable for our hearts and our souls than if we're just on the phone. For seeing each other is almost like having a cup of coffee across the table with a good friend. So we can do things like that. For families, you can gather before your icon corner and you can pray together. Children especially need this because children have been separated from their friends, and even those that are allowed to go to school are oftentimes required to wear masks. And we all know the importance of facial features when we're interacting with people that we know and love. To have half your face covered with a mask is tantamount to cruelty in my mind. It separates us from others. You can't see that smile on another person's face when it's covered. So what do we do with terrible times like these? We reach out as best we can. We don't leave the elderly neighbor without the benefit of having someone check in on them. What better time than to send a piece of pie over to a neighbor who's alone than now? What time can we find in our lives that is more appropriate for us for those telephone calls and those letters to let people know that we're thinking about them and that we love them. What better time than to bring our children together to pray and to read the scriptures and the lives of the fathers together. The children need that. One of the difficulties that we're now seeing is that so many young people feel not only cut off from their friends, but from their faith. And this is a time when many will lose their faith and give in to the pervading religion of the time, which is atheism. And atheism is essentially a form of narcissism, because atheism is grounded in I am God and I don't believe in God. So this is the time when we really need to nurture our hearts in the scriptures and in consistent time in prayer. The Jesus prayer especially comes to mind. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. It is a prayer that comes from the earliest times of the church. It is a prayer where we allow ourselves to enter into a relationship with God. We declare in the prayer that Jesus is Lord, that Jesus has the ability to have mercy on us. And we express in that prayer that we are in need of forgiveness. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. There's so many other things that we can do. We can read the lives of the saints. We can read spiritual lives of people such as the elder Thaddeus, Our Thoughts Determine Our Lives, or any of the books by St. Theophan the Recluse. But whatever we do, we don't want to give in to just sitting in front of a television or a laptop and immersing ourselves and essentially separating ourselves from those that we need in our lives. So this is what we can do as Orthodox Christians, as well as speak out both to the state and to the church of our need to have the divine liturgy and to have access to the divine liturgy to bring healing to our souls. So God bless you all, and may you endure this difficult time as a cross to bear, knowing that the Lord is bearing the cross with you. God bless you. Keep the faith. I love you all.